In 2024, I had a really fun time kind of creating both a TBR and a small little list of reading goals and seeing if I could kind of stick to either of them, and I did pretty well. So I thought it would be fun to do the same thing for 2025. I didn't want to make the TBR too extensive because I am into mood reading and I would like to continue to mood read as much as possible. Hello. I'm definitely trying to keep that in mind while I kind of create this TBR and reading goals. Maybe that's a goal that I kind of want. I feel like maybe that's just a given. But anyway, I figured I would start with my TBR. I have 19 books on it, which is definitely shorter than last year. Once again, I just don't want to feel constricted by it, if that makes sense. So to start off, I definitely want to do my annual reread of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I thought I would do this beautiful edition that has like gorgeous illustrations like this throughout it. It might also have, oh yes, it does. It has like handwritten letters like this one throughout it as well, which obviously that's absolutely gorgeous and I cannot wait to reread this. I'm thinking the beginning of February. That's kind of always where I try to aim for. So in the next few weeks, honestly, we'll probably be rereading this one. Then at some point this year, I'd love to get to Gibby Tales of a Baseball Lifer by John Gibbons and Greg Oliver. I was gifted this and I absolutely love baseball. This would not be for everybody, but I can't wait to read it and learn more about John Gibbons and maybe how he ended up on the Blue Jays. I'm assuming that's going to be part of it because that's the uniform he's in. So I can't wait to hopefully get to this one during the baseball season. I feel like that would be a really fun thing to read come like May, June. Then I've been putting off listening to the audiobook Making It So by Patrick Stewart for as long as I've put it on hold with my library, honestly. I just keep telling myself I'm reading other things at the moment and pushing it off and pushing it off. And this year I am making it a priority. So whenever it next becomes available to me from my library, I am checking it out and I'm listening to that audiobook because I have been looking forward to it. I've just been putting it off. It is a very lengthy one. I think it's about 20 hours and it's narrated by Sir Patrick Stewart himself. So super excited for that. Then I want to finally read A Dowry of Blood. I have had this one on my Kobo for a couple of years now and I need to get to it so bad. I always hear amazing things about it and it definitely sounds like it's my kind of a vibe, so I don't know why I've been putting it off for so long. Maybe because I'm like kind of scared it's going to disappoint me at this point, but I'm definitely thinking this one, if I can wait for spooky season, would be like the perfect October, autumn kind of read. But if I feel like reading it before that, I'm gonna let myself go ahead and do that. Then I'm hoping to get to My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, new fiction by Afghan women. So this is a collection of short stories written by Afghan women, and it's described as powerful, profound, and deeply moving. I don't know much about it, only that it is apparently a very beautiful collection, and it is definitely one that's been sitting on my shelf unread for far too long. Then I need to read my first Olivia Blake. This one is Alone with You in the Ether. I have a few of her books that I haven't got to, and I even bought like the signed editions of them, but for some reason I haven't picked them up and I don't know why. So I'm hoping to start with this one this year. Another book that's been sitting on my shelf for far too long that I thought would be a very good one to put on this year's TBR is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I have only ever heard good things about this book. So once again, don't know what's taking me so long to read some of these books. It's ridiculous, but this is a must read this year for me. Then this is a definite must read because I just received an ARC of an audiobook called I'll Come to You by Rebecca Kaufman. First of all, the cover, stunning, beautiful, gorgeous. Can't say enough good things about it, and that's definitely what drew me to this arc. And then also it's supposed to be women's fiction, which I feel like I don't read enough of, so I definitely want to incorporate that into my TBR at least a little bit. These two next books are the only books I didn't read in 2024 that were on my 2024 TBR, so I'm carrying them over to my 2025 TBR, and that is The Shadowhunters Codex and Shadowhunters and Downworlders by Cassandra Clare. Other than these two books, I have read all of the Shadowhunters books finally. Now these are like, I think novellas, or more like information about the world rather than stories. So I wasn't really feeling like reading them come like November, December when I finally got to that point of my Shadowhunters reading journey. So hopefully I'll be in the mood to kind of pick them up in the next few months and cross them off the TBR. I am also hoping to read Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark by Brynne Weaver, apparently the third one to this soon-to-be trilogy is coming out this year. And I also have someone like on my ass about reading these, and I keep putting it off and telling her, oh yeah, I'll get to it eventually, and I never get to it. So it's on the TBR, and we will be reading these this year, hopefully. Then I felt like I needed to put some classic literature onto this TBR other than Pride and Prejudice, because I have so much sitting on my shelf that I just have not got to yet. So first I put The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. People love this book. I'm hoping it's as good as everyone says it is. I mean, the cover is definitely intriguing on this edition, so I can't wait to finally see what it is about and decide if I too love it like everyone else seems to. And then Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is obviously another one that is a lot of people's favorite classic, and it kind of helps too that this edition is beautiful. Definitely wanted to put this on my TBR for this year. Hopefully the inside is just as beautiful as the outside of this book. Next we have The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arikawa. I already know that this is just going to make me sob just by the title alone. And last year I read The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa, and that one made me bawl like a baby. I feel like I'm definitely gonna have to be in a kind of sad, crying sort of mood before I pick this one up. But Hiro Arikawa's writing is so freaking beautiful. I honestly cannot wait to be destroyed by this book. Then another mission of mine this year is to finally read another Mona Awad, because I can't get Bunny out of my head. I read that a few years ago and it lives in there rent-free. It randomly pops into my mind and I need more Mona Awad. So we're going with All's Well this year, and I'm hoping it is just as good as Bunny. Everyone says that it is. Anyone who likes Bunny, that is. I know that's definitely one that, like, some people love it, some people hate it. I was definitely on the fence about it at first, but as time went on, it grew on me a lot, and I realized that I'd never read a book so clever, if that makes sense. I don't know. If you get it, you get it, and if you don't, I'm sorry. Then these two are kind of like a continuation of my 2024 TBR. They just weren't out yet when I created that TBR. But that's volumes 6 and 7 of Lore Olympus. I love this graphic novel series and I cannot wait to read these. Hopefully in the next, like, honestly, few weeks, because I can't wait to see what happens next. And then last for my 2025 TBR, we have The Addams Family and Evolution. This is a huge bind up about the original Addams Family comics, and it includes all of them, and I love the Addams Family, so I cannot wait. I'm once again hopefully gonna hold off on reading this until like September, October, autumn sort of area, but we'll see if I can wait that long. Okay, so that's it for the TBR portion of this TBR/goals situation we have going on here. So next are my goals. There's not a whole bunch of them, but the ones that I chose for this year, I was trying to make kind of meaningful, and I'll hopefully stick to them. So the first one is read more arcs, and I'm thinking like maybe one a month. I feel like that's kind of doable. Maybe a little less than that, but I would love to kind of get more into reading arcs, and particularly more like kind of indie authors and less known books that are coming out. I feel like that would be definitely a fun time, and I might discover a new author that I wouldn't otherwise have realized that I love. So definitely kind of looking to dip my toes more into that. My next goal is DNF books that aren't bringing me joy. There were a few books that I read last year that I literally said out loud in my reading wrap up, man, I wish I would have like DNF'd this one. It wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it. Why didn't I? Honestly, life is too short to read books that don't bring you joy, so don't read them. My next goal kind of goes hand in hand with that one, is don't feel like I'm obligated to read something just because it's popular. And I feel like also don't feel like I'm obligated to like something just because it's popular. I see so many like YA books on Book Talk and BookTube that are super duper popular, and I feel like I should maybe potentially read it, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I'm not that into YA anymore. I don't mind some YA, but I definitely have to be in a certain mood for it, and then also it's just not really my vibe a lot of the time. But then I feel guilty for not reading it because it could be really good. I don't know. I should not feel obligated to read something that I'm not interested in. And then my last goal, which I also feel like goes with the last two, is stop caring about what other people think about my taste in books. So like, I personally love a bunch of different genres. I definitely really like thrillers and horror, but I also enjoy romance and classic literature, the occasional fantasy and sci-fi, women's fiction, literary fiction. If I want to read romance slash smut, I'm gonna read it. Why should I care what other people think about my taste in books? They're not the ones reading it, I am. So I'm going to try my hardest to just stop caring about what other people say about my taste in books and think about my taste in books. That's it. That's going to do it for me for my 2025 TBR/reading goals. I am really looking forward to this year, specifically the TBR part. I feel like the reading goals part is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to work on it throughout the year, and if I feel myself slipping, we're going to reel her back in and get back on track. I will also try to make an update video maybe 6 months or so into the year to kind of see where I'm at, and then at the end of the year hopefully make the last final update on how I did, how much of my TBR I got through, if I met any of the goals, if I crashed and burned. Let me know in the comments what your 2025 reading goals/TBR is. And with that, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.